Hello and good morning. Today is June. Today's June 4th. It is my day 2.025, and I feel the need to make a video, and I may cry a couple times, and that's fine because I probably need to cry. But I have been the last week really scraped my knuckles on the bottom of life, which I don't understand. I don't understand how uh, I can be happy on a Saturday. I made the video on Saturday about going swimming for the first time, and it was a really cool experience. Or on Sunday, uh, I made a bunch of videos. The Druid book that I have has some meditations in it, but it's hard to read and meditate at the same time, so I started another YouTube channel of just me reading the meditations so that I can play them back in my headphones. And I felt very, very positive, and from that spirituality, very comfortable with being happy in myself, and yet uh, go to bed feeling wonderful. I mean, and who's not going to end a 3 day a weekend in feeling so positive? Just to share with you, I'm gonna cry again. I did stuff with I watched videos with my daughter. We cooked. Um, I played Band Hero last night. I mean, I was having fun. Things were good, and went to bed. Woke up at 3 a.m., which is my normal. Since I've been back to work, has been my get up at 3 a.m. and freak out. My brain gets so active that I don't know what's going, you know what I mean? Like you get that, okay, everything's great, okay, and I go to the bathroom and I come back to bed, and it seems like I don't fall back asleep for a while. It seems like I don't fall back to sleep at all, but I know that I do fall back asleep. It just seems like it takes a while. Uh, or I wake up and it's like, okay, I might as well get up because it's time to get up. It shortly will be. So, and then when I get up, and I'm like this morning, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, I want to log in. I want to do some stuff. I want to tackle these issues, my normal workday issues. And I have a negative thought of some kind. For me this week, my company is having a gathering, and I'm gonna have to. I normally work from home, but I'm gonna have to go in and pick up the tickets, and to get there, and just the thought of me, you know, messing with my dilation schedule to go into a building to pick up the tickets, um, totally derailed my morning and brought sadness and whatnot. It like knocked me off my rocker, derailed me, for lack of a better word. So then I got angry, and I got angry at myself and sad and depressed, and um, just stress. And I have irritable bowel syndrome, which I've never mentioned on this channel. It's a pain in my left hand, my left gut. Okay, and it's always been sort of a white flag or a red flag, depending on your choice of color, that something's wrong in my life. When I feel that IBS, when I feel that pain, it tells me, okay, shit, the needles are pegged. The stress needle is pegged. Something's wrong. And it's usually when I think about killing myself, suicide, because it's the pain. I mean, it's a physical manifestation of my anxiety. Okay, and that's neither here nor there. But on Friday last week, I felt that pain, and throughout the weekend, it was kind of like a, hey, I'm here, but I'm not really. I'm just letting you know I'm here. But today it was, oh my gosh. pain. So, why? I don't know. 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 But I have some theories, which I'll share real quick. Number one, I'm lucky that I'm going today in about 2 hours to see my counselor, and I'm gonna unload. I took a bunch of notes as to what happened and when, but for the sake of the blog here, I went back to work the second week of May. I had surgery in March, the end of March. I went back to work after 6 weeks. And within 1 week of going back to work, I just felt dead to the world. I felt like I had a personality change. Stress. I mean, you would expect there would be some sort of disconnect as you adjust to a new work environment. Okay. And so, that's why I guess that maybe green flag or some sort of warning, yellow flag. Yellow is usually warning. It says, hey, something's up. So here's my amateur guess, and I haven't spoken with my counselor yet, so we'll find out what they think, because obviously they're professional. I'm just I'm the canary in the coal mine. But I believe that, number one, post-surgery depression is probably a huge factor in it. But I think that aside from that, my mental health issues, having GCS or about to have GCS, when you have your letters and you have the authorization, your surgery is a go, everything is go, 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 go. I think much like getting married or having a child, it develops a momentum of its own, and yes, some stresses were coming, but some stresses were kind of being taken off of me. I was on FMLA, I was on short-term disability. Okay, so I knew that I had a 6-week vacation. No, I knew that I had a 6-week recovery time coming, and so I was so focused on the surgery that I let some other things not necessarily slide, but you know what I mean. It's the momentum of it. It's like Christmas. It carries you through to the day, or having a child, and getting married. And I think that's also too part of post-surgical depression is you get so caught up in it, and then you ride it till the end, and then it happens, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? Obviously with post-GCS you recover, okay. But so I guess what I'm trying to build is the idea that probably I had decreased some of my meds because I didn't think I needed them, my depression meds, and that probably was not something that should have been done, But if you think about, for me, the anxiety load or the stress load or the depression load, whatever it is that my body could handle, there was less depression in my life because I was headed towards having surgery. And so, with that smaller load, I didn't need as much medication. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, now that is over and these other stresses have kind of come back up, anxiety and whatnot, I think I do need that medication. I do need that. And that's, again, I think it makes sense to me as a someone who doesn't know anything about medication, okay, as a person as opposed to a doctor. And so that's why I'm curious to see what they say. But I really think that's what's going on. I think that again, being on what was previously the higher dosage, it had built up within me a resource of the medication to keep my brain going. And as surgery was imminent, and we took off some stresses like my work. I was on 6 weeks. You know, my mom was coming to town. I mean, it's a life-changing event. It's something we dream of our whole life, etc., etc., etc. Once we find out number one, we're trans, and then we have surgery. So I think there is a medical reason why once I had my surgery and kind of once I had recovered enough to be mobile, that going back to work was enough to knock over everything like a Jenga puzzle, just. And it was, like I said, within a week of going back to work, I totally lost interest. I mean, I feel so bad. The people I was playing D&D with, I totally lost interest in my game, and I had lots of cool stuff playing, but it was like a faucet had been turned off, you know. So that being said, again, I'm very thankful that I'm going to go talk to my Heads Meds person in about 2 hours. I'm very thankful that I was able to get in quickly. So thank the gods for that, and life for that. The other thing is, next week, I do go for a counseling session, which I have not had a therapy session in a long time. Actually, the last therapy session I had was to get my letter. I mean, it's been over a year since I've talked to anybody counseling-wise. And at the time, the same thing applied, the momentum. You know, I got my letters, I'm going to have my surgery, you know. And so I think I have enough issues to fill an hour, maybe 2 hours worth of time. Among them will be the depression and some things. I think initially because I was going back to work, and that was the stimulus initially. In my mind, I keep on thinking something's wrong with my work, something's wrong with my work. I'm not happy, I'm not happy, I'm not happy, something's wrong. And that, I think, triggered the IBS, because that's what I've had in the past. When I'm off kilter and I think something's wrong with my job, which is my security, my stability, it's what my daughter and I mean, we depend on my income and everything. I think when that gets messed with, that's when my IBS kicks in. And that was like that's what I get worried about. So, again, I think that was the first, like the easiest thing to blame, for lack of a better word, was going back to work. There was something wrong with my job. But the more and more I think about it, that's not the case. I've been doing my job for 19 years, and I enjoy my job more than 51% of the time, so it's worth doing. Some other things that I had mentioned previously, I want to address. I had mentioned before, why am I so sad? That was the video I think I did, and one of the things I talked about was the dilation monopoly, and that definitely is something that has changed in my life in the last week or two, and it's borne some fruit. So I want to underscore that. Going from a 5-time-a-day dilation schedule to a 3-time-a-day is so much more manageable. Dilate when I get up in the morning, I dilate on my lunch break, and I dilate in the afternoon, and that's it. I mean, it's very straightforward, and I think I'm at the point in my process where my body has gotten used to the dilation. You know what I mean? Like, the first one is definitely the jaws of life going in and opening up and making way. But my second and my third dilation are by far much easier. And so I think my body is used to that, is getting used to that cavity, for lack of a better word, why we dilate. I had mentioned GCS stuff, not climaxing. Still not climaxing, but I'm getting close. And I may be climaxing, and that's what it is. And like I said, I feel I don't know what I'm looking for. Okay, as far as climaxing goes, I don't know what a climax is from a female point of view because I've never experienced one. I only know what ejaculation is, and I haven't felt that release yet. So that makes me think I haven't had an orgasm yet, but I've come pretty close. I've had a couple of moans and groans. Okay, and so I think there's progress there. I'm not depressed over it. Let me put it that way. I mentioned with the dilation before, lack of depth. Yeah, that's still a bit of an issue, but you know what? It gets in there, and I'm not having sex with anybody right now, so for the moment, that's all I need. And over the weekend, I broke out the trainer dildos. I made a video about the dildos at one point. I have like a first timer dildo is what it's billed as, and that's what it is. It's like a maybe twice as big as a Sharpie. It's very, very small and slender and easy to use, and that's goes in, and that's what it does. And um, you know, I think I'm just gonna have to experience that when it happens. I think a penis is not a dildo. A dildo. Let me rephrase that. A dildo is not a penis. A penis is a stretchable, malleable. It's not a muscle, or is it a muscle? Blood-filled sac that's going to adjust its shape to the cavity it goes into. And the difference between the two is what stimulates for both partners. So not really worried about that. As far as relationships and romance goes, that'll happen when it happens. And I certainly am not going to meet anybody when I'm fucked up in the head. I mean, I got to get this thing taken care of. So those are all kind of GCS things that we're dealing with, and some of those things like the relationship thing, yeah, that I can talk to the counselor about. In a previous video, I had mentioned time, and half of that is responsibility of being an adult, being a parent, having a child, being a parent. You're obligated to certain things you need to do. It's your job. But I've taken some steps to address those things. For example, we have revised the chore chart. My daughter graduated elementary school. She's now a sixth grader. In the fall, she'll start middle school. She can handle a little more responsibility, and so there's been a bit of a change in our household. Things that I did automatically. Now we have sort of a division of labor. It's a lot fairer, okay, and I think it's also good. It's good education for her because she's not always going to live here, and she needs to learn how to be a good roommate. Not that we're roommates, but like picking up after. I mean, basic things: pick up after yourself, do your dishes. Again, so some of that has been alleviated from me, and I'm glad for that. It would definitely free me up for more hobby time. And that has been probably what, again, was the proverbial canary in the coal mine is I lost all my interests. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, yesterday I did rock band, I painted minis, I thought about Age of Sigmar stuff. I'm definitely reading, I'm thinking, I'm doing research. I mean, I feel like some of those interests, the flames are being fanned. Okay. But again, there's something going on that when I get up in the morning, derails all of that, derails those interests because by the time I went for my walk, within the space of an hour, I went from top to bottom, and I wasn't going to go to the gathering later this week. I wasn't going to go to the Midsummer Ritual. I was thinking about canceling some things. I mean, again, there's something going on. And again, now I can feel my pain in my sides is acting up. So I think I'm on to something, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. And so I wanted to share it for the blog because this is a blog of my transition, and you might encounter something very, very similar. I have encountered a couple of people have watched some of the videos and have posted and said, hey, yeah, this happened to me too, or this is, that's the kind of thing that we need to communicate to each other is you are not alone. And this happened to me, and maybe this is how I dealt with it. This is what I did. And so, that is where, for the record, just to say again, I had to reach, there's no shame in it. But to say, yeah, I felt some, sounds like a cat fight, doesn't it? I am the crazy cat lady who needs to be laid, by the way. That's a whole other video. You can watch that video if you want to. So anyway, I don't want to go on too long because I want to. I feel like I need to tackle some work stuff today and get my feet dirty. Get into it. And that's the thing. I want to solve this. I want to fix it. I want to address it. I don't like that feeling of poor me, poor, life is blah blah blah. I hate that. And that's the way I felt, 30 minutes into my day, was I need to give up. This is pointless, etc., etc. So on that note, I will take that as a cue that I need to get my ass in gear. Probably go outside and break up a cat fight and whatnot. Got an elderly cat. I think my current oldest cat, I think, has Alzheimer's. So they're probably not long for this world, and I don't want them to be in pain, and that's probably mirrors this video. I don't want to be in pain. I mean, you know what I mean? So much like I said at the start of the video, I don't understand why we go from one extreme to the other, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay. All right. So on that note, I will sign off for the day. I might make a video later just to see what my counselor suggested. But I wish everyone the best of luck, and we shall see. So on that note, good luck in becoming the best version of yourself. I'm going to continue to try. I hope you do in your life. Good luck.